guys smell that? Do you smell that scent in the air? It's a, it's a scent that I've smelt when we qualified to the final of the FA Cup last season. It's the scent that I got when we qualified to the final of the Carabao Cup the season before. It's a sort of metallic kind of smell. Like it's the same sort of smell that trophies have, you know, same sort of scent, and there's a big side kicking of glory that goes with it as well, like that perfect sauce on the side of your filet steak melt in the mouth. Best cut of meat you've ever had. But here's the thing: to have that steak and that special side sauce, to have that trophy and the glory that comes with it, just one more challenge we've got to deal with. And it's a challenge that in the league this season and Carabao Cup has stumped us. It has stumped us at every single time this season. Well, things come in threes, right? Maybe the most important game against Spurs this season, out of now the four that we will have played this season. Can we make this the one time that we beat Spurs? Can we make this the one time? Was it the 21st of May is the final? Just a little over 2 weeks away. Back to Bilbao. We might as well ask our opponents for tonight. Take us back with you. We'll skip the other Premier League games and we'll just prepare for this one. Take us back with you. We'll train with you. We'll give you a couple of games behind closed doors and all, just to keep our match fitness up and everything. And we can give you the scenarios where you can live a fantasy where you beat us and you qualify for the final. Maybe I'd have to do that on AFC 25 instead of in real life, because otherwise they might decide to completely sabotage us and just injure everybody. So maybe it's not quite as good of an idea to do that. But tonight was tense for most of it. Was very tense for most of it. And then the manager made a questionable substitution at the time. Instead of opting for Kobe Mainu to come on, last time he was a substitute in the Europa League, he was one of the heroes of the night that equalised our goals tally before Harry Maguire ultimately won it. So there was that. But this time, he went a different route. He went with Mason Mount instead. And what a substitution it turned out to be, because he ended up becoming our most dangerous player on the pitch. 2 goals. First goal was very well taken. Don't know about Cruyff turn. Maybe it was a Cruyff turn. Or like a half Cruyff turn. And then, I don't know if you've seen the goal from the archives of Man United where we had Federico Makeda against, I think it was Wigan. I think it was Wigan he scored it against. Might have been somebody else, but bent it, far post, and it looks like the goalkeeper's going to reach it. But the shot just beats him. The shot beats the goalkeeper. Just nothing he could do about it at all. So once that goal went in, I think we all sort of gave a little sigh of relief. It might just... The scary settings have gone away, but there's still time to really make this a bit awkward. Then Casemiro, who, to be fair to him, feels like he's changed a little something in his personal game. He's not doing the same, or he's not showing the same frailties on the pitch as he has been at the start of the season, or pretty much most of the season. Lately the he's sped up the amount of time that he spends on the ball. He gets rid of it quickly. He's using more of his you know smarts on the pitch and wisdom. To to move the chess pieces around. And I've got to say, it's come at the perfect time. It really has come at the perfect time because he's really shown up to be, a very important, very key player. And the fact that, could feature in the final, him and Agate in the final with the midfield two. Bruno may feature in that team. I mean, Bruno tonight was a lot more anonymous, way more anonymous. Now comes ironically at a time where he's been linked with Saudi Arabia. Maybe there's a little edge to it where he's sort of half thinking about Saudi. And that can sometimes be a bit of a dangerous situation. But I'll tell you what, I'd be sound with him playing in the final because playing just that one game for him is so big that there's no transfer story that's really going to distract a player, monumentally when you've got the trophy to win right in front of you, one match away, 90 minutes away, and hopefully it's something we can achieve within 90 minutes. But ultimately, it's just the pieces, the ingredients for this season's better performances seem to be piecing themselves together. It's slowly sort of coming together. Can it get together in place in time for the final? We don't know. We'll have to see. Garnacho, I think, was probably one of the worst performers tonight. Lindelof was very edgy. I thought delivery from Dorgu was, suspect. The crossing wasn't great. I think Mazraoui was started a little bit sloppy, but sort of felt his way back into the game. Maguire was, was just there as Maguire. And Lenny Oro, later stages, got into the swing of things, and we saw that impact from the man increase as we sort of got later into the day. And that's, is showing good signs. You've got a centre-back that's got the ability to really step forward into danger areas and sort of start creating play from there. Maybe that's a part of the system of Amorim, where he wants one of those centre-backs when you're higher up the pitch to really start creating the danger, because you're just defending against runners at that point. You're not defending against the person that's got the ball, you're defending against the runners. And usually you'd expect a midfielder to have the ball in that area of the pitch, not a centre-back. So maybe that's a part of the system that's going to be quite key with the centre-backs, that when you're higher up the pitch, step into those danger areas and begin the sequences that find you the goals. But an assist for him for Lenny Oro tonight, and it was good. It was really, really good. I think Anana's work on the Bilbao goal, I think, probably restricted himself a little bit, because judging by the way he died, like, he probably went theatrical with it. But it feels like he didn't really fully stretch himself out enough. When you see goalkeepers die and the overarm is out full stretch, you've seen it with Donnarumma last night. When he stopped Saka's shot, most notably, like, you stretch across. I think it was also Jan Sommer, for Inter Milan against Lamine Yamal, was doing it as well. Stretch across, overarm stretched out, you actually extend yourself a little bit more. So I think Anana got really close to getting something on the ball, but feel like perhaps it restricted himself a bit too much, but wasn't horrendous tonight. So the sabotage has not begun just yet. Hasn't begun just yet. So fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. We can get to the final, right? And he will be our best friend and not our worst enemy. Fingers crossed. Please, Andre, please hold on for one more game. If we play any games after that, you can be the biggest degenerate you could possibly want to be. I don't care. You're probably going to be replaced in the summer anyways. Act out whichever way you want. Just wait until after the final. Just wait until after the final. But yeah, definitely I would say man of the match. There's a couple of contenders. I think the understudy of man of the match, I think would be Casemiro. Um, Definitely did God's work across two legs. Very, very important part of the team. I think Bruno was, star of the match in the first leg. Second leg, I think we needed someone else to take the reins if he was going to be a bit more quieter. And Mason Mount was like, I'll give it a go. And damn, he gave it a go. I mean, the second goal was a bit unfortunate for the goalkeeper. Yeah, all he had to do was probably just hoof it up the pitch, doesn't matter where, but didn't clear it anywhere near good enough. Straight to Mason Mount's feet, took the touch and control, saw everyone panicking, was like, well, I could take this straight away. You know what? I'm just gonna take one touch, set myself up, and then just glide that in. Didn't need to go Hail Mary with it, just glided it in, and that is magnifique. Magnific finish. Rasmus Højlund managed to get on the score sheet tonight, somebody who's really filed a bad reputation for not scoring or having goal droughts. Maybe he finds his bout of confidence in time for the final. With Spurs in the final, it's going to be a tough game, whichever way you look at it. They're not going to have Mason Mount. Mason Mount? They're not. Of course, they're not going to have Mason Mount. He's a Man United player, not the Spurs player. They're not going to have James Maddison, the other English midfielder. So maybe there's something to be said about the midfield battles there, but I'd imagine if we can soak up a lot of attacking pressure from Spurs, Amad Diallo's back. If we've got a bit of a confident swagger to us, if there's Mason Mount coming off the bench to cause some absolute anarchy, hell, maybe we can get Garnacho to be a super sub. Maybe you start Mount and Bruno in either side of those 10s and bring Garnacho on later on, because he seems to have a better time on the pitch when he is a bench option as opposed to a starter. Maybe that's a little bit of the plan and mind there. Garnacho's most effective work always seemingly done when he comes off the bench. A lot of energy, a lot of trying all sorts, but he'll be drilled beforehand. This we need your team play, not your self play, your team play more than ever. A couple of times Garnacho could have set somebody up, once or twice a bit unfortunate, but other times I think his one-on-one execution, I mean the chance he had where he chipped the ball over the goalkeeper, it's like you could have looped it slightly but kept it a bit more central. I just feel like he was overly ambitious with it, and I think didn't really have the right bout of composure to really pull it off. So hopefully we see a bit more of a better decision making aspect from Garnacho come the finals in a couple of weeks' time. So in other news, hopefully, fingers crossed, we've got a lot more players back. Matthias de Ligt being one of them. coming back into fitness. I mean, some people will say Diogo Dallo will be back, and I'm thinking, wow, Diogo Dallo is not really somebody that I'm, jumping for joy, like, yeah, getting back in the team. I'm not overly excited for that, but you know, yeah, to some, it's a lot more exciting to have Dallo come back than it is for me. I'm not overly fussed personally. I think maybe even Patrick, um, Patrick Dorgu starting might be, feasible against Spurs, even if he wasn't that great tonight. I think, you know, bit of young blood. Maybe you do that in the first half, and you bring Dallo into the fray in the second half, or vice versa. You know, maybe you bring Dorgu on later on in the game for the sake of legs, pace, and energy, and stretch the play a little bit. The same argument for Ahmad. He can come wide, he can come narrow, invert a little bit. He can prop up anywhere from the right hand side, and it's an absolute handful. If you start the game with a Mason Mount and a Bruno up top, um, there's avid goal threats as well as passes of the ball. Hopefully, the chance creation's there, and Hoyland can get himself a couple of big chances against Spurs. We need to see Hoyland get a game where a lot of chances come to him. Let's see what you're made of, because there's a lot of times this season where he's looked like he's had enough chances to prove himself, but hasn't. So hopefully we get a much bigger sample of it. And I say that because even though, Bilbao across 2 matches, we stuck 7 goals past them. I can't remember how many goals it is that they've conceded across the whole season beforehand. I think it was like 20 goals they've shipped all season before Man United came along. Like, I may have that right, I may have that wrong, but yeah, man, crazy stuff. So yeah, in the league, they've only conceded 26 goals. And not many more at all in the Europa League. So they don't concede a lot of goals, do Bilbao, and we've stuck 7 past them in 2 games. That tells you, even if your defense is good, if you unlock the door for United and they find their way in, it could be in for a long night. So I think Spurs' plan has got to be to just stop Man United from scoring. To be honest, stop us from getting the goal. But anyways, 4-1 on the night, 7-1 on aggregate. Some people say, well, that's just harsh on Bilbao. Well, it's the way the cookie has crumbled. And it's an all-English final. Football heritage. Do Manchester United fulfill their destiny and keep football heritage alive? Or do Spurs, despite some of the worst ever Premier League form, find a way to scam a trophy and keep Ange in the job for way, way longer? Technically, it would be the case that Ange's prophecy that he always wins a trophy in his second season, it always keeps that prophecy alive. So technically, it's Man United's destiny to football heritage versus the destiny and the prophecy of Ange Postecoglou for the final. So, maybe it's not going to be our final, but let's be real, they're probably, on the balance of play, going to be slightly favoured over Man United. And it's kind of understandable why. They've won 3 games against us this season, about to play them a 4th time, but none of the games we've played have been more important and more big pressure than this one. Now, hopefully, with the players that we've got in the team that have been winning trophies, come up big. We need them to come up big. We need their experience. We need their know-how. We need their bottle to handle the pressure. Can we do that? Leave your thoughts in the comment section. What your thoughts are about the game, the performance. Were Manchester United fortunate to get through to the final? And can United go all the way and pick up that sweet nectar of success once more? Fourth final in 3 seasons. Can we make it third trophy in 3 seasons? Let's find out. Take care, people. Enjoy the rest of your Thursday nights, and we'll see you again tomorrow for the preview for the West Ham game on the weekend. And look out for a special guest on that one. So, yeah, look forward to it. Take care, people. And, yeah, onwards and upwards to the final. Glory, glory, Man United. Get in there.